and I am, as you've already been told, a marketing consultant. One of my consultancies is with My Biz Marketer. They do digital marketing, and I'm a business development for them, so business development consultant for them. Super excited about today. When Kiki told me about this, I was like, wow, founders camp, entrepreneurs just like myself, there's so many things I've actually gained over the years, working with different companies, working with various departments, for example, and heads of companies and things of that sort. So I was really excited to be here to kind of throw in a few things that I've actually learned over the years as well. One of the things I did when I went out of when I came out from my full-time job was the Chartered Institute of Marketing. So it's a marketing course that is based on London, and so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's solidify, let's certify, the stuff that I've been able to, sort of get in my life as well. So, so today's was going to be about business development innovation. So I'm going to start with first question to all of you. What do you understand by business development?
The direction of your business?
Sorry?
The direction your business is going?
Direction your business is going.
I'm smiling because at my former workplace, this desk was the department for salespeople, so I'm not quite sure because it doesn't feel right. Yeah.
So for you,
sales.
in your head, it's a little bit of sales as well. Yeah. Okay.
A business getting from point A to point B.
Yeah. How to develop from point A to point B. Okay. Anyone else?
Expansion.
Expansion, growth, expansion. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Try. Yeah.
Basically just growing it.
Okay. All right. All right. So, so what I'm going to try and explain to you in a little bit of, so I wanted to go down to basics, so to say. I love simplicity, and so some of the things that we talked about today was go back down to basics and simplicity. So business development is the activity. All the stuff that you said is actually part of it. So sales is part of it. Growth is part of it. How to go from point A to point B, but in a strategic way. How do you strategize to move your business? So you've got a product and your service within your organization, and how do you move it forward to ensure that your business grows, right? So some of the ways to actually do this is identifying markets. So first and foremost, you have to understand which market you're going into, all right? So for example, it could be geographical. So for example, it's within Nairobi, not, East Africa. It could be local. So it's only Kileleshwa area that I'm actually selling something, So understand your market. Where are your people? How much competition is in there, all right? Are you a new entrant? Is it completely new, or somebody already exists in the market that you're going to be competing with, for example? How much rivalry is there? How much buyer power is there? How much supplier power is there? So I'm just going to jump into this so I can show you what I call, it's called the Porter's 5 Forces, which can help you as you do your business development to understand where you are in the marketplace. All right, so lots of research I will definitely tell you to do around about the product and the company that you're in, and where you're going to. All right, so for example, that I said, even if you're already established business, you want to know how easy is it for somebody else to penetrate into the market. Is it easy? Is it hard? Are you a well-established brand such that even if somebody else comes in, they will still hesitate? So what is the situation at the moment? Sometimes you have a lot of buyer power. So the buyers have so much power that you have to reduce, for example, your cost or increase your value, so you understand, sort of where you're at. Supplier power would be like, if they're selling, so your suppliers are, for example, telling you that, no, but I have so many people that want to buy from me, so they have the power to tell you, no, but you take it or leave it at 100 bob, sort of thing. Or they don't have the market, and you're the one who's saying, no, I'm going to give you 50 bob, and so you can gauge yourself in that way. What is your market like? So you can look out for the Porter's 5 Forces. You can do a bit of research on that. But if you need any other information, I can send you that. Okay. So understanding the market, identifying the markets, value creation. value creation would be for your customers, markets, and relationships. What sort of value are you creating? So what is the solution you're providing for the customer's problem? So to say, problem, need, what do they want, you know? So listening out for that. How do you create that value? So value is also a perceived value. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, for example, this costs X amount of money. It's how you perceive it, right? So for example, this is, without this, you can't actually do X, Y, Z. So in other words, this is how we're valuing it, but the perceived value of it will be much higher than the actual value of how much it would be for production, for example, right? So what is the perceived value? That's what customers pay for, all right? Customers pay for, how else can you create value, for example? Understanding, so this is where I'll keep coming back to understanding your customers. What do your customers really need? The value creation could even be, for example, delivery, all right? So for how do you conveniently deliver X amount or X something that you have, your product or your service, without them going far away? So a lot of people do what they call retail outlets. But, you know, we're in the technology age at the moment, right? So opening up a mortar and pestle sort of, you know, brick and mortar place is not as viable as making sure that any part of Nairobi, for example, can get your product at a click of a button, you know. So that sort of value that you're creating for your customers. Other value could be a process. So for example, you're giving a service that takes an hour, all right? So I'll give an example of where I was at. Kingsway Tires used to be like as soon as you come in, from the time you enter into the time you're fitting your tires would take you about an hour and a half. Why? Maybe the innovation of the value creation here would be, how do you reduce the time a customer is in there, right? So that's another value way of doing it. So you don't only think monetary, you can think other ways of doing the value creation. Okay? Cultivating partnerships, and for me that means collaboration. So a lot of collaborations are out there. I'll give you an example, and I think one of the biggest ones there, you know, CBA Safaricom, that's a big collaboration, it's going on, you know. Give me other collaborations that are out there. Anything that you can think about? I know there's Uber with certain people.
Huduma number.
Huduma. Sure. You know, so no, it's true. Collaborations, but why do people do collaborations? Why would people do collaborations, right? You want to not just propel your business forward or leap forward your business, but you're actually doing it in partnership. All right, so something I came about just yesterday. This is news from yesterday. Competitors, VW and Ford, are getting together to do something as a collaboration. Really big rivals, but look at what they're doing. Self-driving electrical cars, right? So you say that, no, I can't, you know, talk to my competitor, this and that, what's happening. But if you do a collaboration, imagine you're propelling yourself and other people, and then in the bigger sense, there's another competitor that you're leapfrogging. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, so that's an example that I sort of came across, which was really good. Building and developing relationships. Here, relationships are not just with your customers. Because we always think about relationships and building relationships with your customers because you want to retain them, right? It's easier to retain a customer than finding a new one, right? But apart from building that relationship with your customer, think about broader relationships. Relationship with your suppliers. How do you improve that such that if someone tells you, oh, by the way, you know what, I need X by a certain amount, I want these many skins, I don't know how to say it, you know, like I want it pronto, can you please get it? And they would be like, hell yeah, you know. So building those relationships, because that's also part of your business process. Having a relationship with your banker, having a relationship with your chief, or your, you know, ward person, or the people who live around you, or the people who work around you. All those are people that are stakeholders in your business. So how do you create those relationships and build them and make them stronger, such that you've got a really good strong base around you. All right, so that's still part of business development. So I'm just going to read out some of these things, which is business development can be the innovation hub of your organization, so you can be innovative. It can be a source of disruptive strategies, and we'll kind of have a look at some of the ones that we're talking about. Business development teams identify areas of opportunity. So now that like I mentioned, you can have an existing product, but you can have a newer product. You can have a new opportunity, a new market. So new market example would be, like I said, if you're in Kileshwar area and you want to build into Hurlingham or Kilimani area, so that's a new market for you. So how do you actually penetrate into there? So with all your research that you do, how do you do that? So that's a business development strategy. Or new distribution channels. So for example, if you're selling bags to local businesses, can you sell them to a new channel through Jumia, for example? Or could it be through a supermarket? So new distribution channels, that's also part of business development. But using as a sales tool, for sure. Business development as a sales tool is a really big thing as well, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to sell, you want to grow. All right? Alright, so we've tackled business development. How about innovation? What do you understand by innovation?
Finding new ways to improve products. Not just creating a brand new one, but maybe you have an existing product and you find a new way to improve the functionality or the design or the ease to the customer. Make it more convenient and friendly to them.
Yeah. Anyone else? Innovation?
I see the same thing, usually for already existing solutions.
Okay, so innovation can be both an existing as well as new. Okay, so what we normally say is invention is the new idea, and then innovation means like sort of introducing something new into the business. Yeah, so your existing business and then introducing something new. So it could be a new thing, or it could be an existing one that you're improving. So innovation in business processes could also mean increasing efficiency and productivity. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's your product that you have to improve. It could be a process that you're improving to make it faster, better, more convenient, for example. So think about it in that aspect as well. Maybe you've got an amazing product at the moment, but then because of not having the technology for it or something like that, you're doing everything manually. Who's the one? George over here, doing everything manually. But how do you improve it? How do you improve your business process? Is by embracing technology so that you can improve it, such that you can do way more things with your time. Yeah? Okay. Developing new and improved products we talked about. Customer demands and needs are changing constantly. That's like one of the constants that we have, isn't it? Today you'll be like, I don't mind actually walking down the road to the supermarket and getting something, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, but I don't even want to move there. I need something to come to me. Is that right? So the customer demands keep changing all the time. So how do you improve that? By improving your product or your service to move with those trends, okay? I'll give you a bad example of how this didn't happen. Kodak. Alright, so Kodak, you had the film, you had to put it in, you do the thing, you click, and then you go to, what is it? You have to develop it and then print pictures, all of that. Oh my god. Right, so they knew technology was happening, but they ignored that. Changing demands, people wanted immediate pictures. Look at us now. We're talking about Instagram. Where's Kodak? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that sort of is an example of the rapidly changing customer demands. Adding value to existing products, increase perceived value, like I mentioned. Increase perceived value, and how do you do that? I love the idea of incremental changes. You can do incremental changes to your products. It doesn't have to be a big change. For example, when we started buying mobile phones, right? Our mobile phones were really simple. We had the dials, we'd click on them, ABC was in one, CDF was in the other, like that, right? And look at it now, we can just do it on a screen. Those were also incremental changes as they came along. Then after that we have all this touchscreen and all that's happening, but then what we want is waterproof. So again, same product, it's waterproof. So small little incremental changes in different things that come about. So think about it in that way as well. Okay. Innovation can come from inside the business as well as outside the business. Why I say this is that tap into your people. Yeah, people have different ideas, and ideas are great, right? How to improve these ideas to move it forward, that's what you need to tap into. And it doesn't have to be just your employers, it doesn't have to be just your managers, it could be your suppliers, for example. They have a great idea. Never say no to any idea. Take them in, analyze them, understand the business, understand the market, and then make a decision, right? So here's some disruptive innovation ideas that were there. Where we started from, which was the analog, and then where we are in digital, okay? I love this. This was like the flame, and then we've got fluorescent, and then LED, which is like power saving, correct? So just think about, it doesn't have to be this big, but this is just like a boost to ideas. Like I mentioned, I think the most important is know your customer. So I love this quote by Henry Ford. If he was to ask people what did they want, they would say they want a faster horse. Whereas what did we get? We've got a car. And where the car has like moved to now, I mean, like, it's leaps and bounds. We're looking at, driverless cars, for example, and things of that sort, right? So know your customer, understand your customer, be customer focused for sure in terms of innovations, right? However, you can introduce something, like for example, we didn't know that we wanted a touchscreen phone. We never knew that, but can we do without one now? If someone gave you an old Nokia flip, will you even take it? You'd be like, no, let me just put that in my
Even
museum.
our moms,
Yeah?
they want to be like this.
Thank you. They want to be like this, isn't it? Yeah? So understand obviously what the customer needs are, but think beyond that. What else can you improve in their lives, for example, right? So that's how the innovation can come about. Understand their behavior. So not just like, for example, how you have your normal know your customer. What age is there? Are they male or female? Where do they live? Geographical, this and that. No. What are their behaviors as well? All right. So when do they shop? What time do they get on Facebook? What time do they do this? What other things do they like? Do they like rugby? Do they like music? What do they like? Where do they hang out? So these are some of the things that you need to start thinking about beyond the normal of your target. So understand your target market even better, so that you can then talk to them in their language, right? Talk to them in their language so that they can then relate to your product or your service. Marketing intelligence. Marketing intelligence is so important. I think I was mentioning, and I think I'm going to repeat myself, but understand your market. So marketing intelligence is part of that. So use different tools. There's so many online tools that you can use at the moment. You can do research, like for example, send out a survey on SurveyMonkey, for example, and get that information in. You read newspapers, read blogs, read what's happening in the market at the moment. All that data, consolidate it, and then you can make a decision for your innovation, for your product, how to improve it, for example. Yeah, it's not just a hunch. Don't use hunch. There's a really interesting point. I think it's up a little bit up ahead, but what they were saying is that I think I'm going to skip to it, but. Yeah, here we go. Marketing without data is like driving with your eyes closed. So you've got your driving, you're doing that, you're steering it to your business from A to B, but then you're going on hunches. But we're in the data age right now. So why are we not using that data to help us propel us, in the right direction, right? Instead of bumping into walls. Okay. Yeah, so continuously improve. Get feedback from your customers. If you have a new product or you have improved your product a little bit, how did you like it? Did you like it this way? Is there anything that you think could be improved? Oh, did you like it? Oh, did you like this particular skin? Or did you like the way my errand guy dropped it for you? Did you enjoy it? How would you rate it? Please give me that information. That information is key for you to know whether it's working or it's not working at every part of your process. Okay. Oh yeah, and the first touch point for your customer. First touch point is not when they open your website, is not when they enter your premises, is not when they touch your product or your service, it's when they hear about you. And if they hear about you and it's not very good, that's the first touch point that they will not want to even interact with you. So making sure that the information that goes out there is something that they would want to hear about, positive, sort of thing. Okay. 2 quotes. I'll just quickly go through them. That fella is a VP doing some business development. We cannot promote our brands as responsive, caring, and customer focused while ignoring too many of our customers' needs and complaints. So you've got a whole bunch of customer needs and complaints that are coming on your social media, or you're physically getting them, but you're ignoring them and you're saying, no, but we care. And so there's a disconnect right there, so then you're not telling the correct story. And then Steve Jobs says, you've got to start with a customer experience and work backward to the technology, not the other way around. So what's out there, then you move it into, so now what do we need to do? Yeah? All right. Technology-wise, great quote by Bill Gates, information technology and business are becoming inextricably interwoven. I don't think anybody can talk about meaningfully about one without talking about the other. All right, so now technology, data, all of this is actually really intertwined, right? We can't do business without any of that. Technology driven, we have to be technology driven in this day and age. Otherwise, might as well, even the mama bogas. Even the mama bogas right now get information, they've got the phone, they understand, they will take your number and they say, okay, I'm going to call you when you need a popo. I've got this. So they also using the technology. So we as business people, we need to integrate this in our processes. Yeah, which means that from the time someone actually keys it in, this person needs this order, from the order all the way to delivery, you already have that entire process within technology, for example. Okay, so data is key. Using the right metrics, for example, so you've got all this data, all right, but what are you measuring? You need to make sure you're measuring the right metrics to help you propel your business. So that's another big thing altogether, so I'm not going to really go into it, but that's also part of the business development, to understand how you're propelling it forward. Some of the things and examples I put in there is like chatbots. I'll give you an example. Every business will have the same questions someone will ask. What are you? Where can I find you? How much is it? When is it available? Which shop is it? All of that stuff. No one is going to click on your FAQs. But what they will do is they'll come on your Facebook page and they will inbox you with some information. And so are you going to answer the same question over and over and over? No. You can use something like a chatbot. And chatbots nowadays, there's locally available, really good products, really good at good prices that you can use, so that that part of your process is out. You're focusing on your business development on another level altogether, not saying, okay, let me reply to this one, and it's just literally copy-paste, right?
And so then Facebook actually has inbuilt chatbots based on the questions that your customers ask.
So use those, use technology to help you move forward. Use things like HubSpot for your sales, use things like Asana for your tasks, for example, MailChimp. Those are some of the simple tools that you can use to help you propel your business forward. Okay. Without data, you're just another person with an opinion. You really are, isn't it? Oh, I said no. Okay, where's the proof? If you don't have proof, you're just an opinion. Okay, so maybe something you can think about. Communication, I know this has already been talked about, but it was something that I was really interested in because when you've already understood your target market, okay, so you've understood your customer, you know who they are, what their behavior is, where they're situated, and all of that stuff. Content is key. The reasons why Nelson Mandela says this is if you explain, like, some people of us may have learned French in school, right? So it's a language that you understand, but it's not your language. So I can say something in that language and you'll understand it, it's okay, alright, I get it, yeah. But if I explain it in your language, yeah, that you speak all the time, or in the way you speak it, it resonates with you, alright? So content is key. Content for your customers, where they are, and like it was mentioned by Jean, that content is not just the words, it's the graphics that go into it as well. So your target market, do they like to see an old woman carrying something, or do they actually like a sports person, or do they like, so your content has to be targeted to what is their language, how do they understand something, you know. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about was in your, the way we were talking about the influencers and stuff, they're saying that there are few like influencers that would like to do it for free. So then that's your age group then go for it. But if your age group is not in there and they don't speak to that age group, your influencers are not speaking to your customers or your target, then it's like what I say, post something on Facebook and then hope someone is going to read it, right? But posting something on Facebook means nothing. It will probably not go to your target market unless you boost it to the right people. Talk to the right people. Otherwise, it literally is. You're actually posting something on so that it's like you're talking to yourself. So even the followers that you have, you know that Facebook doesn't send it to all your followers, right?
Yeah.
And then all your followers are not your target market, right? So then understand that when you're actually sending it out as well. And then, are you reaching them? And then, so the polls, she said polls and stuff, do those polls with people of your target market. So you understand whether that communication is reaching them or not. So if, for example, a mile doesn't work for the market over here, then maybe tweak it. And it's okay. In fact, in business, what they say is every 2 to 3 years or 4 years, you can change your vision and mission statements. It's okay to do that. Your objectives can change as well because you're growing. Your objectives at this particular moment cannot be the same as the objectives a few years up from now. And we're evolving all the time. So it's okay, right? Use the technology to reach the customers. Digital marketing for sure is the way to do that. Traditional marketing for sure is good for like your FMCGs and certain products and stuff, services, but even those need to get online. Yeah, even those that need to get online. All right, so thank you, and questions that you guys have.